Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm going to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea, because you know I loves me some tea. And I love Survivor, and I love my cup mug. Yeah. And you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. Look at us almost having a panel full of cup mugs, even though Brooke has one, but it's not there. I know. But if you go up, look above Jack's head, right next to Jack's head, there's a QR code where you can go and the other way, Jack.
It was the other way. Yep.
It was that way. Yep.
Confused myself because I was like, it's mirrored. Wait, no, it isn't.
It's
No, okay.
It's right there. But you can get your cup mug if you scan that QR code or go to LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get the cup mug, period. And thank you.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and are we sure we're watching the right season? All of this episode felt like 10, 15 seasons ago. It was weird.
I mean,
Want me to make you feel old? Philippines was 24 seasons ago.
Oh, that's about half my life. Yeah, no, that's rough. That's rough.
That makes me feel old too, because I love Philippines. It's actually my favorite season of the show. So yeah, put that into perspective. It was that long ago. Hi everybody, it's Brook, and I'm passionate about pop culture. Now, normally when I come on here as the CEO of someone's fan club, they're normally a competitor on the season. However, we still have a minor stake in the Sandra Diaz Twine fan club, which I will never beat David Heatley for that fan club CEO. I can't do it. But Sandra slander will not be tolerated, and I need no. And look at that, Sandra's karma is still hitting when she's not even competing.
bam.
Bam.
And I'm Mike. I'm your buff bodybuilding correspondent down in Dallas, Texas. I put the him and himbo and the gay and video gamer. And yeah, get out your Matt Singh arc bingo sheets because we're just checking all of the boxes right now. And I'm yet to be proven wrong. We're yet to be proven wrong on this theory. So,
Amen. I'm here for it. Brooke, I could not agree with you more. There is no way. There's no way we will have someone slander the name of Sandra Diaz on this here in this lifetime. Not on Beyonce's internet. I'm sorry. Never.
I love Jeff just like moderately popping into trouble and going, well, I mean, it worked twice, so.
But we are here talking about Survivor 49, episode 4. The swap of all swaps, the tribes have swapped, and we love to see it. Um, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do, y'all know what to do. You should know what to do if you've been here. But if you haven't been here and this is your first time, welcome, number one. And please hit the subscribe button on this channel because we are trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. And we are almost at the end of October. We're mid-October right now, and we are not there yet. And so I really want your help. I ain't too proud to beg because I will. But I know y'all tired of hearing me say it. I know you're tired of hearing me say it because guess what? I'm tired of saying it. But if we don't hit our mission by the end of the year, I'm just gonna start it right back up in January, and I'm gonna keep going until we hit our mission because I'm persistent that way, and I will continue to say it until we hit our goal because a lot of fun things open up when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So really kind of want to do that so we can do the fun things over here and we can create better content for you. So please, please, and please, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button on this channel. And all of our other channels in the Cup Network are also on that mission. So if you're a fan of drag or drag race, At the Cup Pod is the place for you. And if you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, At the Cup ESC is the place for you. And I'm telling you, it's ramping up on all the channels. ESC is going to start ramping up very soon because they have more stuff coming up their way. And the drag channel just never stops. We just never stop over there. Just like on this channel, we just never stop. It continues to happen. So content will never be an issue with you, with us. So join us on subscribe to all of our channels. All the links will be in the description below in our link tree, as well as our audio podcast links, so you can check us out. We want to be everywhere you are, so take us with you. We want to be everywhere you are, so subscribe to our audio podcast links. Join our Patreon. We got a lot of fun things coming up. We got a lot of fun things planned, a lot of fun things that we would love to have you a part of. So join our Patreon as well. And just for our socials are there. Our socials are there. And we're going to. I was about to do that too, but you think
I caught it like 2 seconds earlier. I was like, wait a second, here,
well,
to
no,
here,
because
go.
because then I'm not in it. But
Oh, no,
okay.
no, you are.
Oh, am I? Okay, I was about to say then I'm not in it, which would have been perfectly fine by me because I don't need to be there, because really the socials you need to worry about is At the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. That's where we want you to interact with us. And if you want to interact with us individually, you sure feel free to do that. Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you did there. I didn't realize things had changed. But yep. Check us out on all of our socials. And if you ever decide that you want to be on a podcast, we're looking for new voices. We're looking for new voices. I mean, we're looking for she, hers, he, hims, they, thems, everybody in between. If you want to be a part of the podcast and you feel passionate about talking about a specific show that we cover or a show that we might not cover and you want us to cover, hit us up in our Instagram DMs at the Cup Pod, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Now, all of that is out the way. Let's get into this episode because, man, the Pork Headley tribe of just Alex and Sophie, they come back without Jeremiah and they're just like, it's just us. We did it. It's us. We're gonna ride this out to the end. And it's just us. And I'm like, that's sad but cute at the same time because they're like, it's us. We got each other. I thought that was
I think it's
Mm.
always sad when you see like a really small tribe come back from tribal.
But they
One of the
chose
saddest
versus-
moments I remember is like when Stephanie LaGrossa was all by herself before going into the other tribe, and it had this sort of feeling of like you want to root for these people, like you just feel so bad for them. Even the ocean don't like them.
The ocean don't like him either.
And stealing Sophie's shoe, taking their boat. They cannot catch a break. And, well, it seems like they're about to catch a break. I think their misfortunes may have just ended. So,
I was going to say, why weren't they sleeping in their shelter? Because like
their shelter's trashed.
but it's better than sleeping on a beach with a rising tide. Like at least there, like, yeah, you could get wet by a rain, but you're gonna happen that anyway if you're on the beach. So like use the thing you built.
I low-key thought they might have just like chilled on the beach and both just fallen asleep.
Fell
That was
asleep.
the vibe I was
Maybe.
getting, because I think they were just exhausted, like mentally too
Physically,
much.
everything.
Intense day, and they're like, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be, but if we're going to tribal again, like we've seen a tribal of 2 before, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So I feel for them in this moment, especially considering both of them, like the 3 of them were close and they wanted to go further with the 3 of them. So now it's just Alex and Sophie with an I. I'm hopeful for both of them moving forward now that they're going to be able to find ways to work through the mess that they have found themselves in this early in the game. But I mean, last time we saw a three tribe split season with a tribe that got decimated down to 2, a blue tribe that got decimated down to 2. We see the split up. The guy goes to one side, the girl goes to the other side, and things worked out pretty well for both of them. So hopefully.
I was going to say the win equity of both Alex and especially Sophie, like Sophie's win equity skyrocketed in this episode for me. So keep an eye on that. That was she is working hard, and it showed in this episode.
Let me just say this, Sophie with an I. You slid in my DMs, and I want to say first of all, thank you. Because you know I ride for you and I will continue to ride for you. I have ridden for you since the beginning. I wasn't going to let nobody say too much on the name of Sophie with an I on this here panel in my presence. Therefore, when you slid into my DMs, I was like, I see you, girl, and I appreciate you. You, ma'am, in this episode, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, look at me backing the right Sophie. I picked the right Sophie. I backed the right Sophie, and I will continue because this was a good day. This is a good episode for my girl Sophie. And just even from when they came back from the decimated tribal and all of that happened, and she lost her shoe and all of that. When they got to the challenge and they were there, they both walked in just like, here's us. This is it. It's just us. And everybody already was feeling bad for the Blue Tribe, for Kelly Tribe, because of the loss of Jake. And then they lost again. And all of this stuff, they just kept losing, couldn't catch a break. So everybody was already feeling bad for Kelly. And so then you have them there and they're doing their thing. And Jeff is talking about, this is what happens. Look at this decimated tribe. It's just the two of them. And, numbers count for everything. All these numbers and numbers and numbers. And you know what numbers is important? 14 is a good number because we have already had this planned out at 14 of a tribe swap at 14, but it just happened to get there sooner because of the loss of Jake. And so now, and everybody's like, what is he talking about here with this? We had this planned, da da da. He said, it's time for a tribe swap. Sophie and Alex was like, yes, yes, oh my God, yes, this is the best, yes, yes, yes. Like they was hyped.
Special shout out to Sophie ripping off her buff, throwing it on the ground, stomping on it, digging a hole in the sand, burying it, and then stomping on that again.
Sophie was me because, baby, I would have been like, get this. I would have threw it in the water and drowned it under get this blue thing away from me.
It was a great TV moment, but I think it was also such a great strategic thing to do because it really kind of makes them free agents. It makes their target level just go down so much because everybody already had so much pity for them, but like they made them laugh. Like people are like, if we get these people on our tribe, we're going to get them to go after the other tribe. Like that was the mindset of both Hina and Uli in this episode.
It was just fun to see that, but to see the difference in the Uli and Hina tribe from the Kelly tribe, they are rejoicing, and the other two are like, shoot, we have not had to think about anything like this. We kind of like where we are right now. We like the people we're with. We don't want to switch up. But it's the nature of the game. And then Jeff is like, I know, Survivor is about switching up and making things unpredictable and blah, blah, blah. And, throwing stuff at you that you didn't expect. I know he wanted to say expect the unexpected, but then Julie Chen would have been like, hello, that's my lane. But he was just like, I just what you don't expect. And so he was like, I see a difference in how y'all feel. And they're like, I mean, it's the game, I guess. It's like, And he goes to Kelly, and they're like, "Baby, we so used to unexpected." Like he asked, who's been expecting this or who didn't expect this. Both him and Uli are like, "Yeah, us. We don't, not." And Kelly is like, "Baby, we've been getting stuff thrown at us since we got here. Like, we never expect anything. It's fun."
But I also tribe swaps. I would be the most scared of if I were to play Survivor because you're in your good group and people
Yes.
who are strong and well insulated in their original tribes, they get swapped onto a tribe out the numbers and then they lose, and that's not enough time to make any strategic inways with the other people, and then you're just out. I mean, speak of not slandering Sandra at all, but that's exactly what happened to her in Game Changers. So swaps are dangerous if you
It's
are
not
in the
slander if
majority.
it's just the truth, Mike. You're
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I'll be
sadly what
honest with you,
happened to our Queen Sandra.
if that swap hadn't have happened, there is a very good chance we could be talking about 3 times Survivor winner Sandra Diaz Twine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Imagine Sandra coming back for Winners at War having won Game Changers too.
Crazy.
None of
That's the
y'all are
world I
gonna
want
beat
to
my
live in.
record.
That's the world I want to live in. Beside the point, though, for me, one of the things I was really hopeful for this swap was that we would have to see some of these people in these 4s. Remember the 4 and the 6, not to be confused with the 2 and the 4 and the 6, but some of the people in the 4, I want to see them have to struggle a little bit because these first few episodes we've been dealing with a lot of Calais, and that's expected. They've lost every time. Cool. But these other 2 tribes, they've been kind of stagnant. The people that have been in power, and they have, power to them because, again, they got in the 4 and the 6, and that's great. I'm happy for them. But what happens when the 4 gets split up? And we saw that on both sides, which makes me very happy. Importantly, though, we talked about the Philippines of it all because, again, the comparisons are hard to ignore. But with Philippines, Malcolm and Denise were just like, okay, you go here, have fun. And there was no swap. There was none of that. I actually think this is significantly better for specifically Alex's game because Sophie, I think she can blend in with that group. We saw it in this episode. She was doing such a good job of social integration that Rizzo basically treated her like an extra tribe mate from Uli. That is incredibly impressive.
It's as if she was OG Uli. It was crazy.
OG Uli.
Exactly. And she had lived with them for less than a day. Like, that's incredible to me. But when it comes to the Hina side of things, Alex is a little bit more of a physical presence, like visually, There is always going to be that whole thing about men are just physically stronger, blah, 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 in Survivor, which will happen every year. But I do wonder if he got dropped on, let's say, Hina with that tribe mentality of, everyone on Hina versus you, which is kind of how they have been, even without the 4 and the 6 too. I think Alex would have been screwed. I think Sophie could have maybe been able to figure that out a little bit and not had as much of a worry there. But Alex, without the swap, I think would be in a really rough spot. So I think this is actually better for them than the whole Malcolm and Denise of it all in Philippines.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think the way it happened, having Alex and Sophie on 2 different tribes, like you said, better for them. And I think having Alex having his idol is only just strengthening him on that side because don't nobody else know about it. Like, nobody knows about it over there. He is the only person. Now Sophie knows, and she is giving information to certain people, but nobody on the tribe, on that new Kelly tribe, where Alex is now still in the Kelly tribe, which I get why they did it. Let me just say this. I get and I understand why they said Henna tribe and the Kelly tribe and not the Henna and the Ule tribe, because it's like, well, we're just sending, even though I wish they would have, because Alex and Sophie has suffered enough. They could have sent both of them to a tribe with stuff, with fire, just burn Kelly to the ground. Like we could have left Kelly alone. Just like that should have just been done and buried. Like we don't even think about Kelly no more. It should have been Henna and Uli, and we could have had it done. But I get it because it's like one tribe is going to start with everything, and one tribe is going to start with nothing. Makes sense, I guess, in the survivors of it all. But my humanity is saying you could have sent an Uli.
I was really worried. Go ahead, Jack.
It genuinely is just like, oh yeah, so the tribe that's been losing this whole time, let's send more people there because that beach is done so well and has so many. It is annoying because obviously this was just the plan, the preseason and everything. They just had all these things prepared, and that's why they didn't keep Uli around. They were always going to do Hina versus Kele. But God, does this so hard disadvantage that team?
Mm-hmm.
And for what reason? Like, okay, great. Two people have had amazing beaches the whole time. They're just going to keep winning. Cool, we're done. Have fun.
I don't
But
think
like,
this
So
is
with
a
this,
huge disadvantage, or at least it wouldn't be if you would have gave them the damn flint until the
Yeah.
challenge, which is what they should have done. Other than that, I don't think it's a huge disadvantage. I mean, obviously, Hina's going to have a little bit more comfort. They have the tarp, so like that beach is going to be a little bit better. And we also know the Kelly Beach in general is not very great compared to the other two beaches itself in terms of like the resources that are available. But like the Kelly Beach, if they had a flint, I don't think this would be a big of an issue.
no, it wouldn't be a
They
big
wouldn't have
issue.
their damn
They had
hammocks, and that's
fun.
about it. Yeah, they wouldn't have their damn hammocks, and that's about it. So like,
Go ahead.
Mm.
I was going to say I was worried when they put that split. I mean, it didn't end up panning out like this. Kelly took the win eventually. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it made me worried because it made me think of like Survivor Fiji, where the have-not tribe just lost every single challenge. And I'm like, tribe dynamics, like the comfort of tribe area does matter. Like morale matters in Survivor. So I was a little worried when I saw that. Fortunately, it looks like that's not going to be the case this season. But yeah, I agree. Bad design on the producer's part.
Yeah, but we do get our split of New Henna, which has 4 Uli people, 2 Henna, and Sophie on the tribe. And then the new Kele, which has 4 Henna, 2 Uli, and Alex. And it's so funny with this split on this Kelly tribe because the Uli tribe has sent Shannon and Sage over to this new Kelly tribe. And we witnessed last week Shannon literally throwing Sage under the bus. And so I'm like, it's apropos that these two end up on a tribe together where they either have to try to work together and get Alex on board, or maybe make inroads in with the Henna tribe, the old Henna tribe, or figure it out, or we just keep throwing each other under the bus and every man for themselves at this point. It is interesting to see that is the dynamic that happened with that. And then on the other side, the Uli tribe is intact, and you have Matt and Jason on that side, and they're actually cool with each other. Matt and Jason are like cool with each other. They don't have any issues with one another. No, neither one of them are thrown under the bus. Jason is very much Henna strong at this point. He's just like, I really would like to be. I don't know if I can be, but I like the people from my Henna tribe. And so it's funny. It's interesting now seeing the two dynamics of both camps going back, because they do go back to camp right after they swap teams, and they thought they were about to have a challenge. Jeff was like, "Nope, this is the Survivor fake out," and I'm like, "Okay, Jeff, sure." But to seeing the dynamics on each team, with, like you said, with Sophie being the only person who's been the tribal council on that entire team, and then Alex being the only person to be on tribal council on this entire team, they're going back to new beaches. And watching this dynamic between both sides was uh, kind of intriguing to me watching this episode.
I will say I had a little bit of longing of like we were so close
Mhm.
to a 3-3-1 on each side. And
Mhm.
the amount of joy that would have sparked in me to just be like, oh, there's going to be fights. Like, this is going to get nasty fast. It did suck to see, like, oh, yeah, well, a perfect majority has already formed on both sides, and there's
Mhm.
very little that can happen. And we see basically the only crack that could have occur.
Mhm.
And then immediately that crack was basically plastered over
Right.
immediately with someone going, yeah, no, I'm not breaking rank. That doesn't make sense. So that's kind of the only sad thing of like, this is deterministic to where more than likely, unless crazy things happen, like an idol hits or shot in the dark hits or some really crazy twist where someone just stops liking that rank of a previous tribe, we essentially have 8 people confirmed for merge, and it's just which of the other 6 are going to fall. And that kind of stinks.
I will
I
say,
don't mind
go
it.
ahead, Brooke.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I don't mind it personally. Because on the one hand, yeah, does it suck to be in the minority on a swap? Yeah, but also, you're at 14. The past few seasons we've been merging at 12. I expect that to continue. So, I mean, again, in theory, if this next round is the last round we have before the merge, or again the merge, then I don't mind it at all, really. I think that the interesting part about this is that the groups that we have on both sides, yes, they are, from their original tribes. It doesn't make sense for them to stay with their tribes. But at the same time, they're not all neither majority is the 4 from their side, right? Both of the 4s got broken up even just a little bit, right? And that fracture creates room where, let's say, Alex decides that he would rather work with the Uli members on Kele, right? If Shannon and Sage can put aside their bullshit, if the 3 of them can figure out who's not in the majority of the majority, then maybe they can swing something and get a number gone. I think the openness of a 3-3-1 on paper sounds really interesting, but it kind of just forces whoever's the one to just be the swing, make their decision, and then that leaves for less room to me than this situation that we have right here, which forces good social gameplay and to try to push people away from a group and make them turn on someone rather than making one person the only person whose opinion really matters on the tribe.
I was going to say, I kind of agree. I like that the 4 on each Hina and Uli, they got broken up. And so now there's this interesting dynamic of, do these cores, are they going to withstand? Are they just going to have a 3 and then like Jawan is there for Uli in that 3 if they lose Shannon on the other side? Which, I mean, they're kind of setting up a Sage versus Shannon kind of deal on that side. And I think that's where it's going anyway. I think that's been the storyline for a while is Hina versus Uli. But that also breaks up the core center of both of their tribes because, it opens things up more. So sure, there's more like 2 people in the 4 that are like closer, but it still gives options for everybody else to maybe like, let's reform something for the merge. And it's not just, oh, this is the 4 and the 6 and the 6 takes over and then the 6 goes to 4. Like it's not going to be like a pagonging. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, pagonging.
Our favorite.
Everyone's favorite, the pagong. Doesn't it make everyone happy?
So I think we should just go to the challenge because honestly, it's just a lot of conversation. Well, we do see this Sophie on Hen of Tribe. She's making her inroads. She's talking. She's making sure that they know, like, hey, I'm here. I'm a number. If you and she sees what the majority is, and she goes to the majority. Smart. She went to the former Uli tribe and was like, "Listen, if you need something to shake, I can make a shake for you. I can be a number. I can help you out." And she was so open and so honest, and just her social game was on point in this episode. Like she literally was just like telling them everything that they needed to hear, everything that they wanted to hear from her when they were talking to everybody. It was certain things that you look for, and you tried to see if this is going to work for you, if this person is willing to work for you. And certain people, Jason, was just not giving them that. She wasn't giving them anything that they wanted. That was more of a reassurance. Like he was very headstrong about Henna tribe, and whatever. Sophie, of course, being the free agent that she is, because she has no loyalties to anybody, is like, yes, you need me, I'm here. Let's be that if we need to be, blah blah blah. And everybody's like, okay, okay. She had uh not Shannon, Savannah.
Savannah.
Savannah was like, oh girl, I see myself in her, and you always look for some people who remind you of home, and she reminds me of home, and I can work with her. Rizzo was like, yes, I like her. Literally everybody from the Uli tribe was like picking her up and putting her under their wing. Like, we want to have her, which is impressive.
I think that is huge that Savannah said that. Like, she reminds me of home. That is a really big thing to come from someone. That means that they feel really comfortable with you. Also, it kind of shows where the power dynamic between the two are, because she said, I feel genuine from her. And this was right after Sophie was lying about the idol on Kele to Savannah. So I was like, she lies to Savannah, and then Savannah's like, I feel her genuineness. And I was just like, ooh, girl, that's your blind spot. Be careful there. So we'll see how that relationship develops. But Savannah may have just developed a blind spot in Sophie here, because she sees home and she trusts her wholeheartedly, which I don't think she should. But great for Sophie.
Great for Sophie. I mean, nobody. You don't trust anybody wholeheartedly on Survivor. I'm just saying.
In any way. Something, but I will say that mentioning the idol, Sophie telling her about Alex playing his idol, and like, granted, the circumstances as to which she was talking about the idol were not exactly the full truth.
The truth.
But I think it was about 90% accurate of Alex on this idol. I was with Jeremiah. We wanted to vote Alex out. But when we found out Alex had the idol, I knew I had to vote with him. That last part isn't the truth, but everything else, I mean, and I can't blame her, because I think that was actually a really good decision on her part. Just get it out in the open, get rid of anybody who might be like, oh, well, maybe Sophie has the idol. Maybe, if they think she has the idol, maybe they wouldn't want to work with her. Maybe they'd try to blindside her early. But now that they think that she doesn't have it, and they believe her in that fact, not only are they more trusting of her, because she's basically airing out her only possible allies, like possible biggest moment so far in his game, they trust her so much that later in the episode, Rizzo is literally sharing with her the Beware advantage like he did with the rest of Uli. Like, and again, this is no shade to Rizzo, but it's crazy how insane that sentence is. A person I met less than a day ago, I am now telling her that I'm about to go get an idol. Nuts.
Wild. It just shows the how good Sophie's game was, how good her social game was in that moment, where they just felt the need to just trust her so deeply, and was sharing information like that. We all know on Survivors, information is like capital. Like, if you got, it's your currency, and if you can share information, you share that with only people you trust the most. Even if you don't trust anybody completely, you only share that kind of stuff with people you trust the most. And like you said, a day, less than a day, and he's telling her about well, I need to learn her ways. I want to study her social game for sure.
It genuinely is insane. And I mean, there's a reason that Sophie was essentially in control of Kele, even as that ship was going down, she was in control the whole time, and she's just showing that like she's that dangerous on a different tribe and is willing to start kind of just like, oh, if I just maybe poke a hole in this boat and just see if it sinks a little bit, what happens?
Right.
I'm gonna be fine. I already have a life vest. Like, let's see.
Yeah. And it's interesting because on the other side, on the New Kelly tribe, we see Alex doing the exact same thing, but it wasn't. And not that it was no shot to Alex. It wasn't as smooth as Sophie's transition because I think what you said earlier, Brooke, Alex being a very more imposing threat, physically looking threat, and on the tribe, so they kind of look like. But they also recognize that where Alex goes, that group will get the majority over ever. And Alex was doing the same thing Sophie was doing. Go find the majority, talk to those people, get in good with them. He didn't have to tell anybody about his idol or anything, because why would he? But just get in good with the people who were in the majority, and they were eating it up. But there was also eating up another person in Shannon, because like you said, Mike, they setting up this whole Sage versus Shannon situation, and I was like, okay, I see why, because they're not gonna mess with Alex right now. He didn't went through enough. They feel bad for him too, so they're not gonna just come for him right away. So, and then this whole Hina Uli back and forth that they got going on. Of course, you get somebody from that tribe, and Shannon was very quick to be like, "Yeah, Sage is somebody who I would be weary of." And Sage is doing the same thing, which I kind of like. I don't mind the Sage versus Shannon situation happening. I kind of want to see it play out, and I kind of want to see which one of them go win in that versus. Like, who wins, who goes out first, and I think it might be Shannon.
I think it's probably also Shannon.
I think it's going to be up in the air, because we saw Steven say that Shannon is, quote, a shark in a spiritual guru's body, which means he wants her out bad. But then we saw this really deep, meaningful connection that Shannon made with Christina. And Christina revealed a really personal story about her mother. Her mother losing her battle to addiction, which is heartbreaking. And they were like crying together. That's a bond that's really close. And Christina's not going to want to give that up that easily. So if that comes to between Sage and Shannon, it's going to be a fierce fight, I think, within the Hina 4 on that tribe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce.
For me, I'm getting the energy, and this is maybe just me, that they are trying to set up the Shannon arc of, we love Shannon, but she's just too big of a threat if we keep her around. That's kind of how I'm feeling. That's kind of how I'm feeling, and I really do think that, and when it comes down to Sage versus Shannon, if it does end up happening in the next episode, which I kind of hope it does, because I want that entertainment, please. Because I need Sophie to finally get a win. I need her to lose her mind with that win. I just want it to be Shannon, because I think it would just be like, I don't want to call it a heartbreaking Survivor moment, because Shannon has certainly had her ups and downs with how she has spoken about people in this game a little bit. But it just watching that theoretical tribal council would just be very nice. So fingers crossed that the Kelly curse strikes again.
Well, I think for Sophie, who we stand here with an eye, it would be great for her if Shannon went out, because like Savannah now needs her number one next to her, and like, oh, Sophie, here you are. Like, I love you. Come here. You're part of the group now. Like, I lost Shannon. That sucks, but we have Sophie now.
Right. Go ahead, Jay.
I will note, it is very funny because, I mean, obviously, Sage didn't know, like, the Apollo effect of her saying this on the island. But also the fact that she's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but, like, this... Christianity stuff is like so heavy-handed with these people, and it feels like it's so much, and then suddenly, like, literally 3 days before this episode drops, Shannon just fully drops, like, hey, not doing anything spiritual, going fully with Christ. So, like, it was real, just a couple months out, and Sage just clocked it in advance.
I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather
It
not
is what
talk
it
about her and her post life stuff. That's what she
That's fair.
decides. That's what she does. But I will say, if you find when you're playing a game like Survivor or anything, you have to find whatever you can find that will have common ground with people that people will want to keep you around. And if it's Christianity at that moment, baby, be as Christian as you possibly can,
Yeah.
so everybody feel connected to you in a game like this, because it's set up for you to be deceptive and find common, all that stuff. So I get it, because when she said it, when she started talking about her spirituality and the breathing and all that stuff, it did perk a few people's ears. They were like, oh, okay, Shannon, we can rock with that. And then she did their whole breathing meditation thing, and people seem to enjoy that. And she's making good inroads with people. And then when she started talking about her faith, and people like, yeah, I too feel that way. I too have, my faith and whatever. And she was, I don't know if this was her plan to go full Christian while she was on the show, and then she did it after the show, or what. But whatever worked for her, it worked for her. And she took it, and that conversation between her and Christina was, like you said, very, very um deep and bonding experience, where you cry with somebody who you just met and you feel that moment. That could be her ticket to stay, because she don't know if Christina has pull within the Henna tribe, which I didn't think she can look. Yeah. I think MC has more, but I think she has some pull, and she can talk to people and say, hey, I think we should keep, even though I think Steven and possibly MC might be like, nah, this one's smart. This one's smart. And I think they would go against that, but I don't know.
I will say I have no doubt on the genuine of Shannon's faith. She's not bringing it up to be fake. She genuinely has these beliefs.
Yeah.
But if you feel like, she definitely gets the sense that other people can connect on that level. And so we had that montage, and I know it was into service Sage being skeptical of how fervent she was, because it's all of a sudden talking about Christianity specifically instead of just generic spiritualism. And this is what we're being seen. This is the edited product. But there was a moment where she was like, I've really been really in touch with Jesus the last few years. And you saw MC light up, and MC's like, oh yeah, I love that. And that's how you make inroads with people. You find commonality between them. And as long as it's not like a cult ran by Coach, then I am perfectly fine with anybody's faith.
All of these Sophie talks, I was waiting for South Pacific to come up at some point.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen.
That's gonna be Survivor 50, don't you know?
Not ran by Coach. Okay, Coach. My God, not Coach.
I saw him as the equivalent of a young girl. I love you.
But yeah, Sophies are iconic on Survivor.
Right. There has yet to be a Sophie that has not had at least one iconic quotable moment. Because even now, Sophie with an IE got one in this episode too.
She got one today. This is diet food.
I respect the hustle of being honest. How you feel about the reward, though, even if I don't agree, I think you're wild for that.
I agree with that. Baby, be real. If you show me something that I don't like, and I would say, oh, I don't like that. This is not a reward that I want, even though she liked it. But it is diet food. But go ahead.
You remember when Jeff started saying worth playing for was after, I can't remember what season it was, but they literally told him, no, we're not doing this for that. You need to get us more stuff.
Well, I think in Heroes versus Villains, it was the chocolate, and the Heroes tribe was like, screw your chocolate. And Jeff was like, oh, okay. It's just free chocolate.
Don't want chocolate. But yeah, let's get to the challenge, immunity challenge, because
Yes.
they get to the immunity challenge and we still got people confused at where to go. Sophie with an eye was like, oh, nope, not on the blue tribe anymore. Okay. We saw Rizzo taking up the red Uli thing after the fake swap. And he was like, oh, nope, not, I can leave that here. Not doing that. People still confused, but it's okay. They get to the challenge and the immunity challenge is obstacle stacking.
Not a
Not even a
puzzle.
puzzle.
What a
But
I
puzzle?
noted there was no puzzle.
not a puzzle. It was
Kelly's like, this shit
stacking.
is rigged. What the hell? Why is there no puzzle? Like, okay,
Jason would have
for the
won it for
record,
Hina if there was a puzzle.
Kelly would have won
Right.
this challenge if this was a challenge that happened before the swap. Like, if this was the second or third challenge, if like Jake was still around, Kelly would have won this immunity challenge.
Oh yeah,
Jake would
'cause
like
Jake would've-
single-handedly hoist them up on each
he
hand.
would have put
and, like-
Alex. Jason would have had
just being
Alex
lifted like full
like
cheerleader
lift
style,
style, like Jake would have had Alex on his shoulder, who then would have had Sophie on his shoulders, and he would have held everybody up while they stacking everything. Like it would have been
Mm.
crazy.
It would have been over.
It would have been over, but
No,
say-
no. Now we have this.
I would say there was something weird when they were showing the like interns or whoever like pre-runs it. They were swimming, but they were like running with the harness to pull the boat. So I'm wondering if like was there a scheduling issue where tide went out and they were at low tide? when
I
they
think
ran
it
the
was just
challenge?
tied.
yeah, low tide looked like because they were just like, oh, we have to swim with this one and or not swim.
Well, we noticed it because like I was watching with Jonathan, and Jonathan's not a swimmer. He doesn't like swimming, so he's like, oh, I won't do that. And then when they were running, he was like, no, I will do that actually. If I was gonna run it, then I will do that.
Well, I can run it. I don't have to swim. I'm running. Yeah. It was, but yeah, they swam to a boat, got the boat, got all their puzzle pieces, put them in the boat, pulled the boat back, had to strap the boat onto the dock on the pole, and then they had to carry as many blocks as they could. One person had to carry as many blocks as they could over an obstacle of balance beams. And then they had to do it twice with the bigger blocks. And then the biggest last few of the blocks, the last remaining 6 people had to put the blocks on a board and then climb the same obstacle as a team without dropping the blocks. And then once they got to the end of the blocks, they had to stack all of the blocks. And whoever can stack all the blocks first wins immunity and reward. And the reward was a tray of fruit, which Sophie said, this is diet
Sophie
food.
She hates
She's
it.
like, I don't want that. I don't want that. Diet food. Who wants that? But Christina was like, me. I want that. We all want that. What do you mean,
Everyone else is
Sophie?
like,
Don't listen to her.
no, Jeff. Just to be clear, I want this. Like, yeah, Harvey Bread would be nice. I will take the fruit. I will happily take a pineapple.
I'll take Sophie's fruit actually too.
And so,
I love-
Sophie
I
like,
love Sophie adding on that I would have rather had some protein or
protein, some
carbs.
carbs.
Yeah, and like again, this is going to be one of those clips that in about a year and a half, this is going to get thrown into one of those like Survivor funny moments compilations. It's going to be in there with like Natalie's jacket and like
Right.
Who Wants to Date a Girl Who Doesn't Make the Merge. Like it's going to be like all of those. Like
I want carbs.
This is
I want
diet
protein. Just diet food. Could we have
Can we
carbs
have-
or protein?
that we could have cookies.
Oh my gosh, Philippines reference.
You think? But yeah, but they haven't they getting for the immunity and fruits, and so the race is on. MC versus Matt. After they get the boat, everybody goes swim out, get the boat, bring it back. It's Henna in the lead with the boat, and then they have a little problem getting the string from under the boat, but then Kelly catches up and they get the thing on the boat. MC and Matt does not know it's his turn to go apparently because they're like, "Who's going? Matt, you go, Matt." And Jeff was like, "If you wait for an invitation, it's not gonna come." And I'm like, "Okay, Jeff, calm down, sir. Calm down, sir."
I
I
think he was like waiting, like, oh, I'll go to the mat, and then Jeff tells me I can go, and then Jeff like shaded him. I was
like, if you wait for
I
an
will
invitation.
say there
Which
has been
customarily
multiple
does happen.
challenges where like players need to wait for that to happen. So
Right.
Yeah, I
think
don't blame
it's
him.
unreasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't blaming Matt.
But MC in this section, y'all need to look out for this girl when it comes to challenges at the merge. I'm just saying. Like we
she's my
haven't
girl.
been seeing a ton of her because we haven't really been seeing a ton of individual strategy on Hina at all. But she's kind of a sleeper pick at this point for me. She's getting a really, really good edit. Like a smaller edit, but there isn't much to show of her at this point. And I kind of am happy that they're like, she's in this majority alliance. She's working with Steven. They have this really close bond. And that's enough for me to be like, MC, I see you. I'm here for it. And I will also say, I think Matt got screwed when they told him to go back at the end. Because that man did not fall off the beam. He made it all the way across the beam. Even if he tripped and stumbled at the end, he was all the way across the beam. All of the blocks landed after the line, and then he hit down. I think he made it across on that second attempt, personally.
Maybe. I think it. Go ahead.
No, I kind of agree with you, Brook.
I don't know. I feel like, can you just chunk the blocks across the line then and then just go?
I don't
It's
think
like
he held them, dropped as he fell off the beam at the end.
Fair.
Once he had made it all the way to the end. And like, normally I wouldn't say anything about it, but the difference of that one trip probably caused Hina this challenge. So
I think it's like a touchdown. You don't have to get your whole body across the line. Just the ball has to cross the plane. And if his ball and the blocks cross the plane, it should be free game. I was like, not that I'm a huge Matt fan. I'm not standing Matt at all, but like, I kind of think they screwed him up on that second attempt. He probably could have made it by the end. And like you said, I think that was one of the catalysts that cost them this challenge, because once it took him too many times to go back and try it again. But MC, baby, she was moving and grooving, and it was like, got my 5 blocks, I'm out. Let's do it, let's go. And she was so smooth with it. She had a wobble here, and then that was it. One wobble on that whole entire time. And then Kelly did really move pretty good and quickly through the obstacle course with their 6. And this is where it got interesting, because once they got across and they started the whole stacking thing, and then once Henna got across and they started the whole stacking thing, it was now, how do we get all of these blocks on all 10 of them? It was very tall. And I honestly, I thought, I was like, oh, this might be a challenge for Kelly, because they don't have as many tall people on their team. MC's pretty tall, but like, who else is that tall? Like, Steven's tall, but is he strong? And Alex is strong, but is he tall? It's kind of like that sort of thing happening where we had, but then the same thing, I looked over at Henna and I was like, they have short women, a lot of shorties on this side. Shannon is also tall, by the way. She's tall for, but like the women on the Henna tribe are short, but they have some tall guys. Like Nate is tall. Rizzo is tall-ish, I will say. But not strong. It's just like they got the height, but not the strength. Kelly has the strength and not the height. So I was kind of like, how we gonna work this out? But man, this was interesting seeing, and again, MC, my girl, MC,
MVP.
my girl, MVP. She had Shannon on her shoulders, and it was like, okay, she got her up there, and she got to as far as she can go. Then she stood on top of Alex's back with Shannon on her shoulders, and she got as high as she could go. And then they switched it up, and they tried. MC climbed. Oh, this girl. I am a fan. I am a fan. They hold her up cheerleader style, and she is up there balancing and putting these. I was impressed. I was so impressed with her. If she was the MVP of this challenge for me watching.
It was
Am I
really
the only
smart.
person- Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying it was really smart. She has great balance. Hoist her up, and you have to have that balance not to run into the tower. And she has that
Mm-hmm.
long reach. She's like the tallest on the tribe, so it was a perfect match, honestly.
I have to wonder how heavy these blocks were
Mm-hmm.
because and they didn't look that heavy, especially when they were like carrying them across. Like it didn't look hard for MC or Matt to have all of them there outside of just like the shape of the blocks, not the
Mm-hmm.
weight. Because to me, once you get done with the bottom part, just stack all 10 of the tiny blocks on top of each other and then have someone place it on top like that. Like you just need somebody with a steady hand. I feel like that might have been easier. Maybe there was a rule against it. I know Survivor
I was
likes
thinking
having
there's
these
a
rules
rule.
where they don't tell us
So-
everything sometimes. But
With that in particular, I mean, multiple times we had like people stack 4,
2 blocks.
like at the start, we had like 4, I think it was probably Nate, stack like 4 or 5 small blocks and just place them on top.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it could have been you can do that for the first 5 blocks, and the other ones you have to naturally place. But like, yeah, that felt like the easier thing to do. Why didn't they do it?
And then the other option is if you can't do that, is there a rule that says you can't pick up blocks and then slide a block underneath? Because the height's the problem right now. And if these blocks aren't heavy and you have a steady enough hand, picking up a stack of these blocks and then sliding one on the bottom, straightening up the bottom, and then just keep doing that might have been easier.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody thought they had steady enough hands to place like 2 or 3 blocks to then do it with one hand to, to try to stack them up there. Maybe they thought that they'll be more susceptible to drop the blocks or knock over more blocks as they're trying to stack the blocks. So maybe they thought it was easier just to do one at a time. I don't know, but
Who knows?
I love this challenge, though. I love when they stack the blocks. It's a fun challenge to watch.
I
But
would
it
love
just-
them to have to do this with like stacking the small blocks first and then having the big blocks on the top and like having like make it be like 18 or 19 of the smaller blocks and then you have to stack like 3 bigger blocks on top. So that way you still have the height issue, but there's that little bit of like you have to place the block perfectly and it wobbles a little bit. Like I'm a sadist, I'm aware, but that kind of challenge is very entertaining. Yeah, but this is probably my favorite challenge we've had this season to this point because it didn't end in a damn puzzle. And it was a little bit more finesse than anything else that they've done this season. I appreciated that too. Also, that balance beam was demonic. Having that balance beam, like I don't know if we really mentioned it, but the balance beam had like different heights where you had to like
levels,
step down. That's sadism.
Sadistic.
That is some Survivor sadism right there. I can barely walk in a straight line, much less in a vertical change like that.
We saw Savannah though with like she almost like toppled. She like held it together. Like that was tough. Like when you're holding this between 6 people.
Right. But in the end, go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
I mean, surprise, the challenge that's the most interesting is the one that doesn't end in a blowout. Like, it does feel a little obvious to go like, yeah. But, I mean, at the same time, give them a challenge that isn't just straight puzzle. Maybe things will change.
And it did. Kelly has now won their very first challenge of the season. Kelly finally gets flint for their beach so they can have fire. 7, 8 days in, they are now finally getting fire. And Alex, for the first time, does not have to go to tribal council, and he gets a reward of fruit. And if I was him, I'd be like, oh my, please, I get the first choice of whatever fruit I want. I get the first choice of whatever fruit is on this table. And if it's a big old pineapple, I'm eating it all. I'm sorry. I would I don't know.
That was something I was going to ask you all. If you had a choice between any of the fruits on this tray, assuming that you are been on Survivor for 7 days, what's your priority? What's like the one that's like, if I get one fruit and I get to choose whatever one fruit that I want, this is the one I'm taking.
Pineapple.
I'd probably do bananas. Bananas are very dense in nutrients.
It's the potassium for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's the banana.
I am
but any of
grabbing
them,
that dragon fruit, and I am not
that
looking
does
back.
look good.
That was perfect dragon fruit. That was like ripe as hell. Perfectly ripe dragon fruit. Yes, please.
I will say also, I don't know what Sophie IE is talking about. Like, fruit is sugar and carbs. That's all fruit
Mhm.
is. That is energy. And when you are eating nothing,
Yep.
that is ambrosia. That's amazing.
Maybe she
Uh,
just wanted a bread bowl to go with it.
She
Okay.
she wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Hello.
Can I
Why
get
would
some
she not?
carbs? When she said
Carbs
get some
and
carbs, I'm
protein.
like, fruit is carbs. What are you talking about?
Not the kind of carbs she wants, honey. She
She
wants
wants
she wants
pasta.
she wants pasta, bread, spaghetti, and meatballs.
Where is the spaghetti?
You
Where
just gotta
is my
wait for the Applebee's
spaghetti?
reward.
Absolutely.
I
Oh my God.
love Applebee's.
I love Applebee's.
Me and Jonathan still quote that.
Liz. Oh, Liz. She's so like Applebee's is my favorite. Okay. But yes, Calais wins, and I'm very happy for them. But then we see now the new Henna tribe, besides Sophie, all need to figure out what to do next because they all don't know what to do next. They've never been in this position before. Sophie's like, I know exactly what to do, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. And she got back to that beach and got to work. She got back to work and she made sure she was in the know of everything, who was voting for what and whom and where and how. And I was like, you work, Sophie. Make sure they, like you said, by this time they had adopted her into the Uli tribe. She was now the fifth member of the Uli tribe. And so she was like, now what do we do? So who we voting for? Who we going for? What we doing? And they were like, yeah, we're gonna try to go with either Matt or Jason because it's not going to be you. Even though Jeff put her in that category when he asked, should Jason and Matt and Sophie feel like the Uli tribe is the majority? Should it be them? Should they be worried? And they was like, that's sure. They should be
Uli,
worried.
Uli was just, and also like we'll get to, but Uli also when Jeff brought that up, they're like, not Sophie. No.
Yeah.
Sophie's part of us. And Sophie made sure she was always next to an Uli this
Mhm.
afternoon. She always made sure she was always in somebody's ear because she knew they were all like this. They were all going to stick together. And so she was like, Jason, Matt, one of you got to go. Sorry.
It is what it is. And here's where I had a problem with Jason in this episode because I'm like, Jason, my guy, I understand you trying to stay strong and loyal to your Henna people, but you are on a sinking ship right now. And everybody says the rules are you grab your own life vest before you try to save somebody else. And all they needed was a little bit of reassurance from Jason and to make them feel better about him. And Jason was giving nothing. Jason was like, nope, I'm just gonna use my shot in the dark. I'm just using my shot in the dark today.
He was like,
I will say this about Jason though. I don't think he played this nearly as poorly as it looks on paper, especially when you compare him to what Matt is trying to do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because Jason's saying, look, I would personally rather not vote for Matt, and in case I'm the one, I'm just going to play my shot in the dark tonight. That's probably how he should have worded it. Instead of them asking, would you be willing to vote for Matt? And him being like, I'm going to play my shot in the dark. Like, that's not the best. But Matt, on the other hand, total, complete, absolute mess. What is he doing?
Because he did not understand the prompt.
Yeah, so the prompt is, before you go insult her, anyone but me. Anyone but me does not mean me make plan to keep me safe. Me make plan to make sure the target is not on me, and as long as the target's not on me, I live to see another day, and I can figure something out if I have to, right? you don't quote the queen and then not execute the queen's strategy after insulting the queen.
And it looks like they were wanting to lean to Jason anyway, and he just did not push it that way.
Yeah, this man, I'm going to be honest, Jason might have thought about playing his shot in the dark. Matt thought about playing his shot in the foot, because that's about what he just did to his own game. Because, like, literally, he goes, I think it might be a good idea to get somebody out of the majority. Well, of course it would be if you have the numbers to do it, but you don't. And it would be even better if you had Sophie and maybe you could flip one name, but you don't. You don't have her. You don't have anybody other than maybe Jason. And like, that's not gonna work for you when you need the numbers against a 4/5 person majority.
So on paper, this isn't. Matt does something on paper that works in terms of like, hey, Jawan, I believe, is at the bottom of Uli. Let me take the shot and just try and break that off. The odd thing is, though, that Jawan is so perfectly convinced that he's actually good with Uli permanently that it's not a problem. And I mean, even Savannah's like, oh, wow, Jawan was told he's at the bottom by Matt. Matt's right. But Matt needs to go.
I mean, the section, y'all.
The section.
Because there's sections in the whatever he was talking about. I'm just like, sir, I get it. And you know what? Honestly, I respect that of Matt. I respect that he was like, I am going to try to find a sliver of a crack that I could possibly get in and see if we can make it happen. Not knowing that, number one, the crack is not there because Jawan doesn't see it, even though it's there. Jawan has not spotted that crack yet. And Sophie's actually covering that crack that over Jawan. Like Sophie is like, there's no crack here. I got it. Don't you worry about it. And Matt does not see that because Matt is literally trying to start this section with Sophie and Jason and Jawan and himself to get a 4. And it's just like, No, everything Matt said, it made sense for Matt in this game. And if it would have worked, we would have been like, oh, Matt's a genius. If it would have worked, we would have been singing his praises. So that was smart to see that crack. But the fact that Jawan was like, yeah, no, this man, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's trying. He coming for Nate. And he said the wrong name. I think him saying Nate was not the right move because Nate is very well insulated within that Uli tribe. I don't know who he could have said. Like, I don't think he could have said anybody in the Uli tribe and it wouldn't have got back to him. But Nate is pretty good with mostly everybody. And I think Nate is good with Jawan, you know. And so I don't know. I don't think Matt said anything wrong. It's just he just didn't have any legs to stand on within this tribe.
I think he wanted to show power that he just didn't have, and it sucks that he's in that position because he was in power in Hina, but you got swapped out of it, and you just got to look at the situation and be like, it's either me or it's Jason, and I'm sorry, I can't have it be me. So I'm sorry, Jason, you got to go. Like that should have been his mindset going into this.
That should have been his plan. He should have literally went in there and said, if y'all need me to vote out Jason, I will.
That should have just been his immediate response too, because in talking about the whole, yes, maybe he wanted to try to make a move, and if that would have somehow happened, obviously it would be impressive and we'd be talking about how great it was. But at the end of the day, there has to be a certain level of awareness too, and like Mike was touching on, and it does really, like, the other thing we didn't really mention is Savannah kind of clocked Matt's tea pretty quickly before the challenge of like, yeah, I don't think I can trust this man. Jason may not be telling me what I want to hear, but at least he's telling me the truth. And Matt, she's like, Matt, on the other hand, I don't think I'm getting the truth from him. And that is a red flag to me. And I feel like all he did was make it worse by trying to make this plan against Nate of all people, who I don't get why we went for Nate here, personally. If I'm Matt, I feel like Nate might be the worst choice out of the other three that you could have went for based off of what's going on in the tribe. I think he had a better shot of getting Savannah out than he did Nate, because I think everyone likes Nate. Nobody wants to vote Nate out right now. No one dislikes Savannah, but they have all pretty much acknowledged that she's sharp, and he could use that as leverage maybe. But again, it's the awareness that's lacking here for me.
I genuinely think his only possible way to move through this was unite Jawan and then the three people who aren't Uli, and then have Jawan say the name. Because that's the only way anything's going to push here. If anyone else has a name, Jawan can just run that back. So Jawan kind of needs to say it. In a worst case scenario, Matt still doesn't need to say the name, because if someone else does, that gets brought back that this person said the name. But I mean, Matt was just in a bad spot.
Or have Jason pick, like
Yeah,
the other person who's most likely to go. And if it doesn't work out, well, it was Jason's plan. It wasn't me. Sorry.
That also works.
Absolutely. So are we ready to go to the?
We have to talk about the idol.
Yeah, we do
I
have to talk
forgot
about the idol really quick.
That is a thing that happened that was interesting, because Rizzo had the beware advantage that he told all of Uli knows about, and then he told Sophie about. They lost the challenge, so of course now they have to go look for the map to get it, but not Rizzo. Rizzo does not look for the map because he's talking to Sophie. But Savannah and Nate and Jawan happen to go to the water well where you are supposed to dig around to find the map and the key so you can go to the box so you can get it out. And since all of Uli knows, of course, it's just easier for them to just go and dig, and why Rizzo is not there. I found that very interesting. And I'm like, y'all got a map and a key. What would have happened if they didn't give it to Rizzo and they went and found it? Does Rizzo still get his vote back because they find it, or
I don't
because
think
Rizzo
so.
doesn't find it?
I mean, they could have went and grabbed it and gave it to him, because the note says if it's not in your possession, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, as long as Rizzo has the idol, at some point he would get his vote back, right? But it would have to be his idol. And if they didn't give it to him, he wouldn't be able to vote tonight. But I will say, I don't think they had any reason to do that.
No, they didn't.
In this particular situation.
Not in this group.
But I love Savannah going like, so should we just dig for this real quick? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, why do you think we're at the water well right now? We're not here to refill our canteens. And then she's just digging in the sand like immediately. And the other two are like, okay, let's do this. Like it's really quick, but Savannah having the quick thinking of like, we're already here. Nobody else is here. This is the best chance we're going to get. And Rizzo's not going to get mad. He's going to thank us for being the ones to do it for him. Why would we not?
He was happy they did it. So
right, because he didn't get over there to do it. So he was like, yeah, but I can't do it. Y'all know about it. Do it. Give it to me, and I'll go get this idol that we all know about. That it's the group idol anyway.
This is a very interesting season for logistics on these challenges, because this is Uli now at Hina camp. And so that means they buried the idol, and then whatever Klug to the other box. I mean, logistically, this must be a nightmare for production to be like, okay, MC is now on Kele, so we now have to get the chains over to Kele. Like, interesting.
It's interesting too. The other thing too is that this was so much easier than that damn ball and chain on Callahan with Alex's
yes.
idol. I'm sitting here, I'm like, all Rizzo has to do is walk out to this rock that's
the
like
water,
barely in like ankle deep, like knee deep water max, and then the clearest water you've ever seen because it's Fiji, and he can just look down and there's this chest. right there, just a big chest right here. Twist, lock, boom, idol. Compared to the freaking ball and chain tiny box hidden at the Calais beach, they
It's
really
crazy.
said screw Calais the entire season, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did.
I honestly think it's just the thing of like, oh, yeah, so Sophie has actually seen the ball and chain, so we can't do that again. I don't know, just go throw a chest into the middle of the ocean and just give him a key. I don't care.
I just thought it was really funny.
It was interesting. It was very interesting to see that. But Rizzo does get the idol. He gets his vote back. Not that he needed. Look, he didn't even need to vote. It was still going to go the way it was going to go.
Oh,
But Rizzo gets his vote back. He got the idol. Everybody's happy. They see it. Let's go to the final tribal. Well, not the final. Tribal council. We'll get to tribal council. Everybody but Sophie has to dip their torches into the fire. Um, and it's just like we get that. Oh, look at this! Wow, tribal council.
Jawan.
This is wild to me. I'm like, yeah, it would be crazy 7 days or 8 days in, and you haven't seen what tribal council looks like yet.
I mean,
But
Jawan would be me at the first tribal council on that. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm really on. This is really happening.
this is Survivor. Like,
And then I'd get voted out like an idiot because I'm focusing around me instead of the players around.
I mean, I think at that point he knew he was fine. They they went into that tribal council knowing they're fine. But like that would be like I feel like that's when you're on Survivor. Yeah, playing the challenges and doing all the things, finding idol fun. But it's something about getting the tribal council and you sitting there like, whoa, I am really playing Survivor right now. Like I could get voted out or I could help vote somebody out. This is kind of amazing. So seeing their reactions, 7 days in, 8 days in, whatever it is, was kind of funny to see. But when they get down to the questions, this is what interests. Like Matt was so blown away by hearing them say it was between Matt and Jason because Sophie's a part of us, and he's like, wow, did not know that Sophie had got in that good with them. Good on you, girl. Sophie's kind of like, shoot, yeah, I did that, but didn't want to be called out like that. But yeah, but it wasn't like a real call out because literally Nate was like, or Rizzo like, she's one of us. We got her, so she's okay. Like we said earlier, it just goes to show how good her social game is. It's incredible in that moment. But
Is it crazy of me to say that I think if, in theory, let's say they don't merge at 12 and they decide to do it at like 10 or 11 or whatever this time, if they were to lose 2 more, I don't even think Sophie's in the worst spot if they go back to tribal twice. Like,
no.
really, I feel like they would just throw Jawan under the bus at that
Yep.
point and keep
Yep.
Sophie.
Yep.
Like, maybe that's just me, but they're so
Nope.
like she has done
It's
such
everybody.
a good job at insulating. Like, girl, and I know we have had our moments this season, and I have been 50-50 on you. I have become a fan in these past 2 episodes. I would like to say, very importantly, out of every single person this week, you have impressed me by far the most in what you did in this game this week. Even against somebody like MC, who I think really impressed me as well. The social maneuvering by doing, from what the edit showed, very little to even maneuver. Just talk to people, make it clear where you stand. That's all you have to do sometimes. You don't have to make these big, flashy, over-the-top moves. She just integrated herself into this group so damn well.
So good.
I have to say, back-to-back episodes, I think Sophie has been the best player in this episode and the past episode. And she's now in my winner pool, like potential winner pool now. She's done so well.
Yeah.
So
just saying, I didn't look. It didn't take me episodes after episodes to be on your team, Sophie.
Lana, you were correct.
I was there since day one. I was on board since day one. Winner, even through all the losses, I was there.
I will say, when has Lana ever been wrong?
Why, no, check my other drafts. I've been wrong.
Early hatred of financial
Oh,
analyst Emily Flippin is like the only thing I can think of. And like, other than that,
yeah, check my other drafts. I've been wrong a lot. But in this moment, I am going
Take the
to
compliment,
bask.
Lana. Take the
No,
compliment.
in this moment, I'm going to bask in my rightness, though, Jack. I'm going to bask in the rightness that I was with Queen Sophie, because baby, she's eating this up, and I'm with you, Mike. Like winter, I could see that happening. Like the conversation, she's definitely in that conversation, and it's like if she don't, you kind of like, something must have went wrong. Something must have went extremely wrong because she was on a good place, but. Sophie, you already know, girl. I already told you. You already know. But to see her just sitting there, like sitting pretty, I loved it. I enjoyed it, and everybody was like, "She's one of us." And so now it's between Matt and Jason, and the conversation happening. And Nate was just like, "Listen, let's just put it out here. One of you put my name was thrown out there, and I feel like because Savannah had already said one of them is straightforward, and one of them she had conversations with both of them. She couldn't trust one, but one of them wanted to be Hannah Strong. And then Nate was like, yeah, but one of them said my name. And one of them is they were honest about how they felt about something, and the other one was being a little deceptive. And I don't know if I can work with that. I can't work with deception. And Matt and Jason were like, we don't even know which one who's being deceptive and who's being honest. I don't know which one they talking about. And they're like, I guess you gotta wait for the vote.
I mean, they do get kind of an answer for it because Matt's like, I've been very honest, I've been very loyal, and Nate is like, let me just correct you. You've thrown out both of their names. That's like, no, I didn't. He's like, no, you said anyone but me, and then pointed at the two of them. Like, that's kind of throwing out the names.
And I love Matt trying to backpedal and be like, oh, that's not throwing them under the bus. I don't see that as me throwing them. No, girl, you said anyone but me, and you pointed to both of them. That is directly throwing them under the bus. And I will also again say, as much as Jason wasn't great strategically in this episode, him choosing to sit there and shut up and let this happen.
I will say it was great TV. Nate he was really upset with like Matt throwing out his name as like the other vote. But I thought it was interesting, like being so obvious that it was Matt that was the vote that night. Because I'm like, wouldn't you be worried that Matt would play his shot in the dark? If he gets his shot in the dark, like, I don't know, where's the vote go after that? They thought about that going in. But I was thinking, like, if you're just piling on to Matt and he plays a shot in the dark and all of a sudden those votes are not used, you don't go anywhere. I was thinking, like, you keep Matt as the option if you want him out. So
Matt went into that tribal like already on fire, and then just kept pouring gasoline onto himself. Nothing he said worked at all in his favor. I am surprised by the end. I'm surprised and not surprised by the end vote because I think Uli actually really nicely strategized it to where they'd basically be safe no matter what. But yeah, no, it was over outside of freak circumstances.
And I think the way that they split the vote shows how much they trust Sophie to be a part of them. I think because they're like, Sophie, you're in on the split vote. We have 5 votes, 3 to 1, 2 to the other. We're safe no matter what. And that shows that they trust her that much because she could just break ranks and then that's 3 votes the other way. But she didn't. She held, and that shows how much trust she's built with them.
Yeah.
I agree. But also another thing that Jason didn't play his shot in the dark, and he did vote for Matt. Which I think, again, maybe his idea was that I'm going to say this and I don't want to make any promises because if something goes the other way, I don't want people to think I lied or backpedaled. Right. And I don't want people to think that I was just so easily willing to betray my ally. Again, I think Jason's trying to play a like loyal game where he doesn't stab anybody in the back, and like I respect that. It's hard, but in this moment, him voting for like again, I know I've given Jason a decent amount of points in this last few seconds, but him at the end, even if the beforehand was not great, this end decision was the correct one for his game. And I think now there is that possibility that maybe in the next round, if Hino were to lose again, Jason has that shot in the dark and he can use it to protect himself, maybe if he gets lucky, to keep him into the next round. And at that point, well, I would assume he would vote for an original Uli member, and then at that point, it doesn't even matter what happened in this merge because we're still merging 5-5 with Kelly in the middle. So,
yeah,
it was. Go ahead.
I mean, it really, Jason should not have brought up the shot in the dark strategy this episode. He really just should have gone in a next tribal if he had it saying, I'm playing my shot in the dark, and I mean, there's very little you can convince me otherwise. The numbers are simply there to where it makes sense to vote me out. Or we can work together to choose something else. But if I even for a second feel like I'm not perfectly secure, I'm playing my shot in the dark, and there's very little you can do about it. Unfortunately, now he's kind of like said it already, so they can just kind of predict it and try and like bluff him out of it next round, which I think what might put him in a rougher spot.
I mean, you couldn't bluff me out of it at this point. Like he should know he got to use it next round. If they lose, he has to know he has to use it. So it's nothing you could say. You could tell me, oh no, we're voting for such and such. We're voting for such. Yeah, okay, cool. Y'all go ahead and vote for such and such. I'll be using my shot in the dark just to make sure y'all not voting for me. Like it's a given at this point, especially since he didn't use it this time. He has to know he has to use it next time if they lose again. So, but Matt's out. Matt's done. It's
and the
out.
queen stays queen even when she's not in Fiji.
Even when she's not. You don't speak ill about Cedric Diaz Twine without getting the wrath. So Matt, even though you were on my team, not by choice, by default, just want to put that out there. I didn't pick you. I was stuck with you. I am down bad. Remember when you said, Jack, how right I always am? I'm down bad in this draft, very much so. I lose I get people medevac, and then I lose 2 people. I'm down very, very bad right now. But
I'm not much better.
I mean, you only lost 1 person, Jack.
Jeremiah's out too.
Jeremiah's also
forgot
out.
about Jeremiah.
I didn't want to say it because I was like, Lana.
Yeah, I forgot about that man. Sorry to that man. I'm so sorry to that man. I'm sorry. Jeremiah got 2. But yeah, you got 2. You're only down 2. I'm down 3. Logan still has a whole full team left. But there's hope. I'm not giving up yet. I'm gonna rely on my Sophie, not not my real Sophie, who I really root for, that Logan stole from me. But Sophie with the IE, I'm still rocking with her. And Savannah is my saving grace in this situation. I'm going to say that. But yeah, that's the draft, y'all. It's not looking cute. And just imagine Jeremiah's face has got fire on it, because it will next week. But I forgot about that man already. Sorry to that man. But that's that. Matt's out. We're done with that. Next week, I don't even know what that preview was. I don't even know what that preview was. We see Sage and Shannon. They rev it up for Savannah sick of Jawan, but we already been knew that. We've been knew that. She was sick of Jawan day 1. So we've been new. So I don't know what could or possibly is going to happen in this situation. I just know one thing. We'll be back here next week to talk about it. I know that for sure. We're going to talk about all of the events that's going on, and we hope that you join us on as we continue to talk about Survivor season 49. Um, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you listen to this for an hour and 30 minutes, I don't know why you haven't subscribed yet. Just do it already. We're a good, fun group of people with a lot of survivor knowledge, and we will always take it back to Philippines or China or Tocantins whenever we see fit. So you want to rock with us. So rock with us. We appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button on this channel and all of our other channels. Please support. Follow us on our audio podcast links, join our Patreon, follow us on our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Click on that QR code if you want to, or just go to lonagcreations.etsy.com to get your cup mug. That will be fun. And we're going to get out of here because guess what? I still got content to make you guys tonight. And you got more videos to watch from us. So hit the next video. We're going to get out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Cheers, y'all. Bye.
Bye.